Mike Macdonald of the Seattle Seahawks wrapped up minicamp a day early. That means we get to get right to it and bring you our winners and losers from Seahawks minicamp from the 2 days of practices. Macdonald said things look so well for the guys, how they performed, that he wanted to give them an extra day off. So we'll go over whose stock is up and whose stock is down coming up on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. And with minicamp over does not mean we're slowing down by any means. The countdown to training camp is on here on Seahawks Today. We're currently at 52,445 subscribers on the channel, and we are in a race with our Steelers channel to get to 54,000 subscribers. They've picked up a lot of subs lately, passed us up actually. And Jack Sperry, the host of Steelers Talk, he was talking a lot of smack on the 12s, and I can't stand idly by and let Sperry do his nonsense. Show him who's boss. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today for the latest happenings on your favorite team all offseason long. We got you covered here on the channel. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Let's begin with the winners list, and let's start with Devon Witherspoon. It has been Devon Witherspoon's world, and we're all just living in it, folks. He has been fantastic over this offseason, from OTAs to minicamp. He's been a vocal presence as well, really establishing himself as the best player on this Seahawks defense. And Macdonald talked about not just even Devon Witherspoon, but the secondary as a whole shined over the last 2 days. Here's what Macdonald said on Witherspoon. I told him today I couldn't believe he was the smartest football player of all time, and it's only his second year of the NFL. He's got an answer for everything. No, hey, be yourself. That's who he is. We love him. He's a great player already in this league. We're really excited about him. Again, all of those guys are great, man. Energy is right where we want it. Witherspoon coming off a Pro Bowl campaign as a rookie last season. And think about this. Witherspoon expected to be in that nickelback spot for the Seahawks defense. And a comparison for you that I point to is what the Ravens did with Mike Macdonald calling the shots on defense with Kyle Hamilton. And Kyle Hamilton had a very good rookie season, and then he had a great second-year campaign. Took a big jump. I have the same expectations, even more so for Devon Witherspoon, similar to what Kyle Hamilton did last year. I am all in on Devon Witherspoon. Very good minicamp from him. The best is yet to come for the second-year corner. Who's the winner from Seahawks Mandatory Minicamp? Whether it was Devon Witherspoon or somebody else, we got 4 more names that we'll get to in a moment. Chime in the comment section. Let us know who's cooking on our pinned comment today and weigh in on that. Let's go to the losers list now. This is where we find Christian Haynes, the rookie offensive guard from UConn, making this list. And I'm very high on Christian Haynes, but the reason why we have him on the losers list is reading between the lines here. It wasn't like he necessarily did anything wrong per se, but with Anthony Bradford back, and you're going to hear from Mike Macdonald coming up later, Bradford impressed in minicamp. And Mike Macdonald, when he was talking about Christian Haynes, didn't really talk about his performance on the field. Wasn't anything impressive necessarily that he did in the moment. It was very much about the future and getting pads on and all that. Listen to this from Mike Macdonald here. I think Christian's game is when pads are on, when he's moving people, getting to the next level, things like that. Right now, it's hard to feel the offensive line pushing the pile, moving the line of scrimmage. Hopefully we see that when pads come on. So more so a overviewing glance at it of Mike Macdonald talking about the offensive line as a whole when it comes to Christian Haynes. But nonetheless, Christian Haynes comes in off of a campaign at UConn where he was a 2-time All-American, the first in that school's history, and his grades were pretty solid, an 80.2 overall grade by PFF last year there at UConn. Only allowed 1 sack, 1 hit, 10 hurries, 4 penalties. Now you got 3 guys that are healthy, all competing for that starting right guard spot, and Christian Haynes, we'll see what he can come up with there. Back to the winners list we go, and this is where we find quarterback Geno Smith. As Geno Smith, it's interesting, when Mike Macdonald took this job, when he was asked about Geno Smith and the quarterback situation, he was kind of vague, kind of coy on Geno Smith, right? It wasn't very convincing about Mike Macdonald. But over these last couple of weeks, between OTAs and minicamp, Macdonald's tune has really changed when it comes to his starting quarterback. It seems like Macdonald has really bought in now to what he's seen with how Geno's looked as they've installed this new offense under offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. Listen to this from Mike Macdonald. When things start to happen, he needs to be the voice of poise in the room, and he's doing that. We're on record. He's the tip of the spear in our operation. And just to understand when to step on the gas, when not to, but he's communicating those things. There are some situation things that popped up today that we'll go back and attack those type of deals. I think he's playing well right now. And we've heard from Geno Smith that he's very excited about his fit in this scheme, that he sees himself as a drop-back passer, that this is a drop-back system. He and JSN seem to be on the same page. That's been his number one target throughout the last couple of weeks. Geno Smith, I think that you're going to like what you see. I think you're going to see an improvement from his performance in 2023, and this team's not going to be afraid to throw the football. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with their confidence in their quarterback and Geno Smith in his capabilities there. Let's go to the losers list. Speaking of quarterbacks, that's where we find Sam Howell, as on day 2, it was a bit of a down day for Sam Howell at the quarterback position. And to kind of provide some context here, there was some rough weather involved on practice Wednesday, which really didn't do Sam Howell in the passing game any favors. And I'll say this, it's not the end of the world. Everybody has a bad practice. But for Sam Howell, kind of giving some context of what we witnessed, it wasn't his best performance, and he looked good at OTAs, so this is kind of his first bad outing, if you will. Corbin Smith, SI All Seahawks, said the following: Howell struggled with accuracy, much more than usual, leading to a turnover frenzy for Seattle's defense. Howell also got picked once during the team period, with rookie DJ James jumping a drag route to tight end Pharaoh Brown from the slot to headline an afternoon, dominated by defense and the weather. And the turnovers going to be a big key to watch for Sam Howell. He led the NFL in interceptions last season in Washington with 21 total. They go along with the 21 touchdown passes, and that, to me, is the key when we look at it. If Sam Howell's going to get an opportunity, if he's going to start, if Geno Smith goes down, or if he's the potential long-term answer like John Schneider has talked about, he's got to get better when it comes to accuracy and cutting back on the turnovers. That's going to be his assignment over the coming weeks here in this offseason. Name a loser from Seahawks Mandatory Minicamp. We've given you a couple already. Now it's your chance to weigh in. Let us know in the comment section below. We'll move back to the winners list. That's where we find wide receiver DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, an impressive performance at Mandatory Minicamp. And it's an exciting time for DK Metcalf as we turn the page to this new chapter of Seahawks football with no Bobby Wagner in the building, no more Jamal Adams. It's clearly DK as the face of this franchise right now. And I think the next thing that we want to see, we know DK's capable of being one of the top receivers in football. He's played like it. He's been consistent over the last couple of years. But next is the maturity, right, in the maturation process. We want to see less of those personal fouls, but still bring the energy too. Try to find that balance as he gets older, right? Macdonald had some positive things to say in regards to DK, saying the following: really good player, a guy you always have to account for anytime he steps on the field. You got to know where 14 is, and you can't let him wreck the game. He wants to be really good. He wants to be the best, and he wants to be pushed and coached hard, which you respect about him. Really, the way he practices is really awesome. I mean, this guy practices extremely hard, does all the little things you're asking him to do. It's a great example he is setting for that room and our offense as a whole. A lot of respect for DK, the type of player and person he is. I just love seeing him out there because he raises the whole level of our team when practicing for us. So that last paragraph is, to me, a big key. When you talk about him setting the tone and being the example, being the leader, that's what we've been asking from DK. That's the next step that we've wanted to see. And what we saw in minicamp was exactly that. DK Metcalf coming off a season where he had over 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, 16.9 yards per reception. And with those statistics, it goes back to what Macdonald was talking about of being accounted for, that defenses have to keep an eye on DK Metcalf, and that's what we saw in minicamp. Next on our losers list is wide receiver Robbie Chosen. Robbie Chosen was invited to minicamp. He was in the building, but we didn't really hear too much about Robbie Chosen. He makes the losers list. Not that he didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't do enough to impress necessarily. He goes to minicamp trying to earn a spot on the 90-man roster, and here we are, as of this recording, he did not get signed. So you would think that he missed out on that opportunity. And although Mike Macdonald spoke glowingly about the fact that they could cut minicamp practice a day short because how well they fit everybody, how well the guys performed, in the case of Robbie Chosen, that's another missed opportunity by them cutting off practice an extra day, that he didn't get the chance to show up and show out. Heading into minicamp, this was the report from Mookie Alexander of Field Goals on the situation involving Robbie Chosen. At 31 years old with rapidly declining production and a bad ending to his Carolina stint, it's extremely unlikely that this turns into anything beyond a tryout for Chosen. But the beauty of the offseason is the slim chance that he impresses, lands a contract, and can potentially salvage his career. For the Seahawks, if they ultimately decide not to sign Robbie Chosen, it really isn't the end of the world. Chosen was not that great last year, only had 4 catches, 126 yards, and a touchdown. It's been a while since we've seen him play at a decent level. You got to go back to 2021. 2020 was his best season with 1,000 yards there with the Carolina Panthers. And then the other stuff going on behind the scenes, the distraction that he's been in locker rooms, not a bad thing for Seattle to say no to Robbie Chosen as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk defense now. Back to the winners list. This is where we find Jon Rhattigan and the linebacker situation for Seattle. We found out this week that Terrell Dodson is going to be out for a bit. They're hoping he's back for training camp. Jerome Baker has been out the entire offseason. They're hoping he's back for training camp as well. So that presents an opportunity for Jon Rhattigan to step up and get first-team reps. And while his future's uncertain, we don't know if he's going to be cut or not, if he's going to make that 53-man roster. From what Mike Macdonald said about Rhattigan, he made the most of the opportunities this past week with other guys out. Macdonald saying the following: Jon's improved every day. That's probably the highest compliment I can give him. That's what we want from the rest of our team. Guys going out and taking the coaching and taking the field, taking the next step, and keep rolling. He's going to be a part of our team wherever it shakes out at the linebacker position. We'll see. But he's doing a great job for us on and off the field. It was cool to see him make some plays today for sure. So Jon Rhattigan, a good showing for him. And you know, he's never been a guy that's had a big role on defense, mostly been a special teams guy, doesn't have a ton of statistics to really show for, but good for him to see him step up, and with the lack of depth, big chance for him to show out and see if he can ultimately make that roster. What do you guys think? Will Jon Rhattigan make the Seahawks 53-man roster or not? Y for yes, N for no. Write in the comments section and tell us what you think. Last on our list is Anthony Bradford at the offensive guard spot. He was out for OTAs and returned from injury and made the most of it. Good to see him back out there competing hard. And when you're getting compliments from the head coach, it's a good sign, especially when he literally just showed up coming off the injury and everything. Anthony Bradford looked ready to go, ready to compete to try to win that starting right guard job. Macdonald saying the following: he's right there. He's right there. Just good to see him out there. Missed a little bit of time there throughout some of the OTAs. He's right in the mix. Got a great competition, especially on the right side of the line, and he's right there. I think he said he's right there about 500 times. He's got a great opportunity to go earn himself a job. So Anthony Bradford, good showing from him there at OTAs and a chance to ultimately win that starting job. There is work to be done. You look back at his grades last year, nothing to write home about. An overall grade of 51.7, allowed a sack, 5 hits, 22 hurries, and 4 penalties. But nonetheless, good stuff from Anthony Bradford. Continuing off-season coverage, minicamp may be over, but our work continues here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.